ride.
Fabiola.
Vijana chapakazi wenye nguvu za ziada.
My youth, uko na talent ya kusing, spoken word, kucompose jingles ama any other unexploited artistic talent. Gava through Ministry of Information, Communication and the Digital Economy na KBC sasa wamekama up na project ya kupromote usanii called Studio Mashinani. Hizi ni studios ziko grassroots and they are fitted with high quality state-of-the-art equipment where you can produce quality audio and video music content for free. What's more, wanaoffer mentorship na talanta yako itakuwa promoted on KBC Channel 1 TV, Y254 na radio stations za KBC. Tembelea Studio Mashinani huko Komaroks, Langata, Sauti House Mombasa, Kirwara huko Gatanga, Kitui next to Manyanyoni Chiefs Camp na Kisumu City wako hapo KBC Station. Usilalie talent. This is your chance to commercialize and popularize your talent through Studio Mashinani.
PM East African time, good afternoon. This is the great KBC and it's time for Lunchtime News. Thank you so much indeed for making time. We have the latest and the most comprehensive news bulletin, including the latest on Azimio demos yesterday. My name is Bentro Njue and Lensa Odingo will be my colleague who will be handling the sign language interpretation. Now straight to the news. We begin with the latest in terms of the Azimio demos yesterday, where a section of Kenyans are calling for a dialogue between the government and the opposition in a bid to end the ongoing political impasse in the country. The calls coming after 2 weeks of opposition peaceful demonstrations that turned to be violent, leading to massive destruction of property and loss of lives in various parts of the country. Arnold Feather with the details.
Speaking in Kajiado County while issuing bursary checks worth 2.2 million shillings to needy students from his constituency, Kajiado Central MP Elijah Memusi noted that the hardline taken by the two political rivals will negatively impact livelihood of Kenyans.
Let's not play with the peace, security of our country. Kama inasemekana iko shida, Raila na Ruto wajali wananchi, wakae chini wazungumze.
Meanwhile, youth from various churches under the National Council of Churches of Kenya from the upper eastern regions have strongly condemned the engagement of fellow youth by politicians in causing chaos during the mass protests. Speaking in Isiolo during a regional conference, the youth from Tharaka Nithi, Meru, Isiolo and Marsabit counties called on their peers to desist from being used as perpetrators of violence.
We've learned a lot. We've been enlightened about matters that concerns our country, some of the things that happened during our independence, and those are some of the keys that are being big issues today.
Na hamasisho katika kongamano hili ni kuweza kuelimisha vijana, kuleta amani katika nchi yetu, kuleta amani katika mikoa yetu, kuleta amani katika familia yetu.
Arnold Feather for Lunchtime News.
Demos police in Luanda, Vihiga County, are detaining a man who surrendered yesterday after killing his 21-year-old girlfriend over the weekend in Ebusiraro village. The deceased, Dosila Mwende, is said to have left their home at Emutsa village to visit her boyfriend Dixon Indeku when the incident happened.
The grandmother, Jane Omwakwe, received calls that her grandchild has been stabbed and was bleeding profusely. She rushed to the scene of the incident, but by the time she got there, her granddaughter had succumbed due to loss of too much blood. She had a wound in the neck and chest.
Esophagus ndio wakati alikatwa ndio damu ilikuwa inatokea. Hata kama walikuwa wanasema tuende haraka tumpeleke hospitali, hata hangefika 100 yards from the place alimdungia.
Kabla nifike nje mimi nianze mwendo, pia simu mwingine kakucha kuniambia ameaga.
Mwende had been in romantic relationship with Ndeku for more than 3 years, and the suspect had on several occasions threatened to kill her.
Alikuwa analalamika, anasema huyu kijana sio mzuri, wanakaanga tu vizuri, ikifika wakati amekeuka, anataka kumnyonga. Na nikamwambia sasa, ukijua hivyo ni nini unaenda huko? Anasema huwa ananipembeleza. Ama saa zingine anasema akimpata kwa njia anamkaza, anamwambia tuende nyumbani. Sasa hiyo urafiki yao ilikuwa ya wasiwasi.
Angry residents in retaliation torched the houses of the suspect's family. Area OCPD David Ndiragu said they have launched investigations into the matter before arraigning the suspect in court.
Yenyewe mshukiwa wako na aliweza kujitambulisha na kadri mwenyewe alijisalimisha na tukaweza kuchukua hatua zinazofaa. So uchunguzi unaendelea na ofisa wetu wa DCI, na naamini file ikiwa tayari kwa ile muda ambao koti itawapatia ataweza kufikishwa mahakamani.
Stephen Wanyonyi, Lunchtime News.
Now back to the Azimio rallies yesterday. A section of the clergy and religious leaders have had a meeting today in Kibra after a church, a mosque and a school were razed down. They had a presser with the press earlier on, and this is what they had to say.
Hospitals, they breathe the same air given freely by God the Almighty. It is for these reasons that as religious leaders, we are deeply pained and regret the unfolding, sprawling incidences of violence linked to the nationwide protest called by the Azimio One Kenya coalition. It is unfortunate that these unsettling events are taking place just at the onset of the holy month of Ramadan, marked in the Islamic calendar for prayers and fasting.
Do not want a civil war. The people of Kibra are not ready or willing to be dismembered or to be used as tools of political convenience in the hands of some politicians. Right here, at this particular moment, in these disturbed Kibra grounds, we called on all Kenyan politicians to rise to the higher ground of sobriety and put the country first. First, we call on His Excellency, President William Samoei Ruto, to inclusively steady the ship of state. He is the leader of this nation state. And through his administration, with the instruments of power, to creatively use the power to make Kenya the home for all the people. Secondly, we appeal to former Prime Minister, Honorable Raila Odinga, to go easy on his militant political stance against the government and to call on his supporters to be peaceful. We appeal to him to refrain from making calls to his supporters about possible storming of the State House. Thirdly, we are calling on politicians to refrain, to cease and desist from using inflammatory language in political meetings and social media, to advance hard stances and to incite their ardent followers, which has inadvertently led to the unfortunate events of last night here in Kibra. The events of last night for us to travel back in time to the sad memories of brother against brother, Kenyan against Kenya, in the aftermath of the 2007-2008 post-election confrontations that metamorphosed into dark days of violence, killings, destruction of property, and displacement of persons in their thousands. The stain of that time remains our national shame to date.
On one, His Excellency the President, William Ruto, and the former Prime Minister, Honorable, the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to have a coordinational meet-up and discussion to quell political tension in the country. They must meet and come together and talk. We demand. Yes. Azimio One Kenya Coalition, we call upon you to call off the demonstrations and use alternative approaches to handle your grievances. Civil society organizations to stop being sucked into political persuasions, but retain their positions as the dependable nerve centers of good governance, leadership, and national security advocacy. Religious leaders to fully engage political leaders in non-partisan ways for the good of the country and interreligious support to national leadership. Media to engage, pursue non-partisan, non-aligned coverage and reporting of political events so that media reporting and coverage is not misconstrued to fund political motives. Politicians to immediately stop aggressive political mobilization aimed at destabilizing national peace and security. National Security Council.
The National Cohesion and Integration Commission Chairman Samuel Kobia also weighed in on the Azimio demos, and this is what he had to say.
We are happy to always have you when we invite you, and we want to present the statement that we have in English, and we know that there is always a desire to have it also summarized in Kiswahili, and that will be done by Commissioner Abdulaziz Farah. We as the NCIC would like to state clearly and candidly that though the Constitution of Kenya guarantees the right to picket and the right to demonstrate, it does not guarantee the right to perform illegal acts against people and their property. The wanton destruction of cars, mosques, churches, etc. is not acceptable and is hereby condemned in the harshest terms possible. Such acts not only disturb the peace but also create a worry that tensions may escalate into religious conflict and even into ethnic profiling and also into hate speech. We were also further appalled by the actions of some who invaded private property in the name of settling age-old land rights issues that have dogged our country since before independence. The senseless destruction of property is an outright illegal action which can only lead to more acrimony. We know that what has happened is the situation, the prevailing environment in the country has created space for opportunistic criminals to do their criminal activities. As the adage goes, an eye for an eye makes a community blind, and this adage will soon become true if we continue this path of taking the law into the hands of civilians. It is also to be realized that there is no one with the monopoly of monopolizing violence. Can even be purchased, and if that is the case, anyone thinking that they are the only ones who can purchase violence must know that others can do the same. And that is why we say that this adage of an eye for an eye leads the community to be blind. Anarchy is not justified no matter the grievance we may have. Our courts and our laws exist to ensure justice is served to all Kenyans without fear or favor. Taking the law into our own hands is a recipe for utter chaos. We as NCIC call for an immediate stop to these demonstrations and the counter demonstrations.
That has been Dr. Samuel Kobia, who is the National Cohesion and Integration Commission chairperson, weighing in on the Azimio demos. From there, we cross over to Kisumu, where we have Achola Simon following up on the PAG church wrangles.
Well, thank you very much, Bentro Njue. Indeed, we are in Vihiga County, specifically at the headquarters of the PAG church here in Kenya, and they've been having wrangles over and over and again. And today they received a court order that was kicking out the current office. So then, of course, a new office is in there. It comes in to take the reins of power. But of course, there is that controversy that has actually been ongoing. And I'll just allow the listeners to listen in on exactly what the current administrator is actually saying.
Thank you. My name is CPA Reverend Patrick Oyondi. I'm the General Administrator, Pentecostal Assemblies of God, Kenya. I'm in charge of the administration of this church. This morning, we received a contingent of police officers and full riot gear, 4 land cruisers, purporting to effect a court order. I must admit that we have been in courts of law for quite some time now, since the year 2017. And it's all about leadership. There's a section, a very negligible section of some of our members who are fighting the current leadership, the General Superintendent, Reverend Patrick Lihanda. And looking at the contents of the order that the police commander, Vihiga, was purporting to effect, is parallel from what they have done on the ground. They have sealed off every place. Employees, our Bible school students who are gearing to graduate this Friday. We feel it's an assault, it's a contempt to their consciousness. They have taken courses for the last 3 years. So it's very unfair for someone to use such an occasion to come and block the graduation of the students. In any case, issue about leadership should be discussed at a level that does not affect other innocent. These are employees and the Bible students. I wish to call out on the President of this Republic, His Excellency William Samoei Ruto, who has visited Nyang'ori Mission Station 3 times at the invitation of Reverend Lihanda, let it get to His Excellency the President that Reverend Lihanda is suffering because he has had a close relationship with him and therefore is perceived to be a pro-government proponent. And therefore, we want to ask, can we separate these two? Reverend Lihanda has rights as an individual under the Constitution to associate with whomever he wants to associate with. I want to assure our pastoral team, all our pastors over the Republic, all our PAG members, that we are in control, we are in the ground. Don't worry, on Sunday, get your churches. Let's do our business the way we do it best, the Pentecostal way. Pray for this church. Pray for the country which is bleeding. This is a time that we need peace everywhere. And therefore, when we attack the church, our pastoral team will not find time to pray. But again, I want to assure them this is a time that they need to pray like never before. Thank you.
So what exactly is happening? You said that there was a court order that was being effected today in the morning. So we cannot access the precincts of the church. And what exactly is the bone of contention?
Now, the bone of contention, as I said, is about leadership. There are those who are against Reverend Lihanda, but our church is congregational. It's the members and the pastoral team who make decisions. These are the ones who elected him to office. When time comes for election, let whoever who wants to contest present their candidature in a normal way without using our courts. Because we find that courts are, the way they do their business again, we have concerns in the manner in which these court orders are being procured.
Thank you very much, Patrick. Of course, that is Patrick, the administrator of this very big church in this particular region and across the country, spelling out, of course, the issues they are actually going through. And of course, he says he's assuring the members of this particular church that come Sunday, they will have actually sorted out the issue and they can actually come and continue to worship in this place. Back to you, Ben Njue.
That report is actually reporting from Vihiga County in relation to the wrangles that have dogged that church. Of course, a comprehensive report on that in our subsequent bulletin. But in other news, Kiambu County Security Team has announced a 30-day multi-agency rapid resource initiatives RRI to contain manufacturing, sale and consumption of illicit brews and drugs in the area. The initiative will also incorporate the county government.
Speaking during a meeting between the county government and the security heads at the county headquarters in Kiambu town, Area Governor Kimani Wamatangi and the county commissioner Joshua Nkanatha said initiative, which also targets aliens in pre-urban areas, aims at intensifying the crackdown on brews and drugs across the county. It will involve mapping sources, pursuing distributors and ensuring that they are arrested and arraigned in court.
Haramu na dawa za kulevya is one of the standout cases anataka kudeal naye hapa kwetu upande wa Mount Kenya region.
That's where we are remaining with the illicit brews, especially the traditional one, like the Changa and the Kangala. Maybe the areas of Gatundu North slightly uko to improve. Areas of Gatundu itself, Gatundu South, we have to do much there. Areas of the Ruiro area, Wataram, Yangariwe, because I have some...
County Commander Paminas Kioni said though the county had made progress in the war against brews and drugs, more was required. The team said it was giving special focus to Gatundu, which has earned notoriety due to the bring of Changa and Kangara brews along River Chania, Juja Thika, Ruiru and Kiamba.
To brews in this region, Mount Kenya region, we want to have a multi-agency RRI ya kumalizana na hivi vitu.
Nkanatha warned the police against conspiring with the brewers and dealers of illicit brews and drugs during the crackdown. Sabrina Liali, Lunchtime News.
Over 40 elderly and vulnerable women have a reason to smile after Kirinyaga County Journalists Association paid them a visit at St. Mary's Sagana Home for the Elderly. The association, comprising of 21 members, donated foodstuffs among other essential items. Speaking during the visit, the head of St. Mary's Home for the Elderly called for cost sharing in health facilities, highlighting expensive medical cover for the vulnerable women as the major challenge they face.
the medication is very costly. We found that one. Some of them they're getting even injection to make them to calm. So there is two kind of injection. One, if they're not effective, the other injection we have to give her. That injection, one vial, it costs 1,200. That one vial. So like that we are facing, and many challenges we are facing here.
Try and rejuvenate this Njue Jamii cash program so that it can benefit as many members of the society as possible, so that we cannot have issues of discrimination and also issues where members who are supposed to benefit with this kitty are also not benefiting, maybe due to issues to do with maybe misappropriation, or maybe their family members are stealing the kitty, or they're stealing the money that they go and withdraw, they get from the government agencies.
Na wale wamama wanaletwa huku na watoto wao. Honestly, as children, let us learn to take care of our parents. They carried us for 9 months. They took care of us. Na wakati sasa hawawezi jisaidia, sisi tunakuwa hatuwezi wasaidia. Let us learn to live with these people. Actually, mzazi akifikisha 60 years, huyu si mtu anaweza akaa miaka mingi. You are able to take care of that parent and God will bless you.
Very well, at about 25 minutes past the top of the hour, we're taking a quick break, but we still have more news on the other side of the break.
Hey, you've crossed the line this time. I don't care when others do it. But since when are you making fun of me?
Just listen to me. I have confidence in you. You've always written well.
What are you talking about? A few minutes ago, I saw them chatting together. They had breakfast together.
You're doing this for Jenny. Don't be upset.
It's dangerous to drive that car. So that's why I called the towing company and I left the key right here. What do we do?
Liam, call Jenny right away.
Oh my God. Oh my. What's this?
After the dust settled on rigorous campaigns, Kenyans are waiting for elected leaders to deliver on their pledges.
Have you used the hustler fund?
When your children sleep hungry, when you can borrow 500 or 1,000 shillings and they have some food on the table.
So the 500 you're giving me now is my purchasing power has literally been diminished comparing to probably even January or December.
But how have the leaders performed so far?
In terms of the amount of money that is being disbursed, the minimum being 500 shillings, how do you scorecard that?
No, that I'll give it a 2 out of 5.
2 out of 5.
1 out of 5?
I'll still give it 5 out of 5.
Every week, we bring you an honest assessment of the national and county governments.
What is the impact of the Hustlers Fund?
There are people who borrow praying they don't have to pay back. For example, they pray that the owner dies.
The Scorecard. Every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1.
He is a fool who has lost sight of what matters. Manta rabaina wahka kaban. Manta werarena.
Huyu contact. Ni msichana umekuwa kitext.
Sir, contact ni contact.
Not if you're making it personal.
Jamaa, kila saa ni kunyambisha.
Nini? Suseme. Watajua kwa nini kachumbari haipashwi moto.
Our transport has been compromised. Me and my team
Hii ni rescue mission. Kuna police vehicle imechapwa na ID. It's a very simple mission. But stay alert.
Hizi ng'ombe zinachungwa na nani?
Welcome back. Moving on, as the long rains continue to be experienced in various parts of the country, the county government of Samburu has distributed seedlings to victims of the banditry attack camping at Loibongare ahead of the planting season. They now want the government to guarantee them of their security so they can return to their farms.
As hundreds of displaced Samburu residents continue camping at Loibongare, various stakeholders remained concerned of their fate following the security advisory issued. The county government of Samburu has distributed seedlings to the residents so they can take advantage of the rains to plant crops.
Wale families yote, ile households yote walipoteza mali yao, tutawalimia shamba kama county government bila malipo. Na sio kulima peke yake, tutawalimia na tuwapandie mbegu ndio waweze kurecover kwa ile hasara wameenda juu ya maneno ya insecurity.
According to Eli Loldepe, this initiative will help the residents not depend on food donations.
Tukiweza kuwapea hawa na kuwalimia hawa watu mashamba na kuwapea mbegu, hawatakuwa wakikaa kutegemea relief na watakuwa stable na familia zao watapata pia nutrition itakuwa sawa ya family za watoto na watu wenyewe waweza hata kujilipia school fees kupitia ile mbegu ambayo tunawapea kwa sababu watapata chakula na ile kidogo ambayo wamekuwa nayo hawatakuwa wanauza pia kununua nayo.
The residents are now calling on the government to restore peace in the area to enable them move back to their homes to continue farming.
Tumepewa mbegu na gavana ati lelele. Sasa tunaomba usalama irudi pora ili tupate pali ya kupanda mashamba yetu. La sivyo tutabaki hapa hiyo mbegu yetu tunaosha, tunakula, hatuna chakula.
However, the agricultural officer in Samburu West Sub-County has encouraged farmers to farm plants that take a short time to mature.
Kwa sababu kulingana na watu wa utabiri wa hali ya hewa, mvua inaonekana itakuwa kidogo, na now that county imeleta mbegu mapema, tukimbie tupande ili tupate advantage ya mvua kidogo inanyesha.
The initiative by the county government aims at ensuring residents achieve food security. For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abeid.
Elsewhere, residents of Suswa in Narok East Sub-County have a reason to smile following the completion of a 71 million shillings water project in the area. The project by the county government involves pumping water from the dry port in Naivasha to Suswa ward and installation of underground pipes to distribute water to the residents.
Launch of the project, Governor Patrick Ntutu said the implementation of water project is in line with the County Integrated Development Plan (CIDP) that saw Suswa residents prioritizing water during the public participation forum. Area Member of Parliament Ken Aramat urged the county government to hand over the management of the water project to a committee selected by locals so that they can manage it properly.
Na ndiposa nataka kuambia nyinyi wakaaji wa Suswa, maneno ya kwenda kutoa pipe saa ile tumeweka. Nafikiri chiefs wako hapa na watu wetu wazee wakina Kadafi na wale wengine wote baba zangu. Mtu yoyote ambaye atatoa ati pipe kwenda kutumia kutengeneza rungu ama nini, hiyo tutakabiliana na hao.
Nixon Kisotu, an area member of County Assembly, said access to clean, safe and affordable water will greatly boost the pastoralist community living in the surrounding areas.
Ona governor ameweza kupump ama kuweka pesa mingi sana katika hii project ya maji ambayo inatoka dry port kukuja Suswa. Kumekuwa na kiangazi kubwa, watu wanaumia juu ya maji.
Sisi leo kama wamama unaona mpaka nyuso zimeng'aa. Tulikuwa hapo mbeleni hatukuwahi kuwa na maji since mimi kuzaliwa, hiyo miaka yote sijaiona maji. Tumeishi tukua watoto wadogo tukienda mbali kilomita hata 50 unaenda na maji kwa mgongo, umebeba mtoto, umebeba kuni, umepeleka ng'ombe, umepeleka mbuzi, na hata ile unaenda kilomita mingi bado upati maji.
Tulikuwa nanunua maji mtungi mmoja shilingi 50, kwa hivyo watu wameteseka.
Laikipia East residents have been urged to take advantage of this rainy season to plant trees to help reduce the impact of climate change. Laikipia East Deputy County Commissioner Patrick Muli speaking at a tree planting exercise in Mia Moja Primary School, where he said that the government targets to establish tree nurseries in every location. Muli also encouraged women and youth groups to have tree nurseries, adding that they had rolled out tree planting exercises in all public institutions in the area.
Tunanuia tuone kama tunaweza fikisha michi wa mvizimu ya mvua 25 in these long lanes. Then we also want to establish mambo ya nurseries kwa kila location and quarter, na most especially mahali kuna maji. Tunataka tuwe na nurseries. We also encouraging groups ikiwa ya kina mama, ya youth, to wawe na nurseries.
Residents of Gatamayo village in Lari constituency who live around Kereita Forest are now calling on the Environment Cabinet Secretary Soipan Tuya to lift the ban on forest farming. Led by their chairperson David Wawero, the residents claim under the Shamba system supported by the Kenya Forest Service, they were allowed to grow crops in the forest while at the same time taking care of the forest by planting more trees. They have also asked the Kenya Forest Service to repair the faulted electric fence to prevent more attacks from elephants.
Kuna sehemu ambazo wamepatia wananchi kuweza kufanyia kazi kulima, na sehemu hizo tulikuwa tumeweka ua ya electric ama ya stima ambayo ilikuwa inazuia wanyama kama ndovu kuingia, lakini vile imeanguka sasa wananchi, hata kuna wanawake wawili walikuwa wameuawa. Wakati mwingine tunaomba KFS kuweza kushirikiana na sisi, waweze kutusaidia kutupatia that fence, ndio wananchi waweze kuendelea kuwasaidia conservation ya msitu, wakilima unakuja wapanda miti, tunaendelea kusaidiana.
Wakati wanalima mahindi pia wanapalilia mti, na wakati wanaweka borea kwa chakula yao pia mti inasaidika kwa hiyo borea. Wakati serikali ilisimamisha upanzi wa mahindi, hiyo ndio ilileta shida, nao wakazi wa ilia hii nao wakatoka. Ni wachache tu wanajitokeza wakati tunapanda miti na pia tunaitunza.
From Laikipia to Embu, where the University of Embu has encouraged students to undertake science, technical, engineering and mathematics courses STEM, the university at the same time organized a mathematics contest that saw girls perform better than their male counterparts. The institution pledged to hold the contest annually.
Girls are on the right trajectory of excelling in science, technical, engineering and mathematics courses after they emerged the best in maths contest held at the University of Embu that brought together various secondary schools drawn from Embu County.
When I sat for the exam, it was not like that easy, so it was kind of a shock on hearing that I emerged the best.
Tutatia bidii kama vulana, si ndio? Hiyo siku ingine tutakuwa juu.
Dr. Samuel Ndiragu, Dean School of Agriculture, noted that so far 26 schools participated at the contest, though they are targeting more schools at the county level in order to increase number of students undertaking STEM courses.
And most students find it very difficult to actually score C+ and above. If they are admitted, without meeting the requirements, then we normally ask them to transfer to other courses where mathematics requirement is lower.
Sentiments echoed by Dean of Pure and Applied Sciences, Dr. Kawira Milen.
I'm impressed that the girls are coming up from the sample of the schools in Embu County that have come to this contest. And ours now as a university is to put mechanisms in place to ensure that there is equity in the performance of mathematics for the girl child and the boy child.
Picha Chemtai for Lunchtime News.
Moving on, Trans Nzoia County government will now use drones to transport samples and specimens to labs for efficiency. Governor George Natembeya, while launching the Kenya National Hospital Insurance Fund NHIF Netcare, said the initiative will also minimize travels by patients from Kitale to other places for medication. Governor Natembeya also promises free treatment to people with disability.
Kitu naweza kufanya, ndio? Na ndiposa sisi tumeweka akili zote katika sekta ya afya. Na leo hii wale ambao hawajiwezi tukishirikiana na waheshimiwa tumeweka pesa kando kuhakikisha kwamba tumeweka kwa mpango ya NHIF. And everybody now must be responsible. Sisi wote lazima tukue responsible. Hata hii kandege hii kakibeba specimen kalete pale kwa hospitali, pana daktari hakuna katapima. Lazima mtu akue pale kupokea hii kandege na achukue vitu aenda akapime, si ndio? Matokeo irudi. Kwa yote ambayo tunafanya, tunaleta equipment na madaktari wetu wanakuwa trained jinsi ya kutumia equipment, sababu ni kuhakikisha kwamba we offer the highest quality medical service.
Kisii County-based self-help groups have benefited from a funding by some development partners to strengthen their socio-economic activities for enhanced income. The groups under the umbrella of Kisii and the Level Trust Initiative KETI will engage in agriculture, gender and education-related activities. A 5-year strategic plan has been put in place to spearhead the group's activities.
Moving forward, we are going to cause a lot of impact and transformation within our county. Using the member CSOs, we have around 1,697 members who are corporates or members of the civil society network with whom we are going to collaborate on various aspects within the county.
We must stand together and improve what we are doing. We have engaged our groups to do value addition in what we produce. We are increasing productivity in particular areas to make our people self-reliant. And also some of the rules we are pushing, or some of the agendas we are pushing, the governors had to grant us. For example, no one can now carry soapstone, just come and carry it raw out of the county. We want to add value here before it goes out so that our people get what it takes as we go ahead.
Let's do business, and we begin with Equity Bank, which made 46.1 billion shillings in 2022 full year net profit, driven by 25% growth in interest income to 119.6 billion shillings. Staff costs increased 30% to 24.8 billion on account of expansion to the DRC, while loan loss provision rose 180% to 13.7 billion shillings due to increased lending. Due to the record profit, the bank has recommended a dividend payout of 4 shillings per share, 1 shilling more than what they received last year.
Full year performance, it's a record 59.8 billion shillings profit before tax, a profit after tax of 46.1 billion, a 15% year-on-year growth, a 33% growth in dividend payout to 15.1 billion shillings, a record Kenya shillings 1.447 trillion balance sheet after 11% growth in total asset, a record deposit base. For the first time, Equity exceeded 1 trillion shillings of customer deposit after a 10% year-on-year growth, a strong cash buffer of 16% of the entire balance sheet, equivalent to 232 billion, giving agility to the bank, a strong liquidity buffer of 52%, a high asset quality of 7.7 against the industry average of 13.3, a 94% NPL coverage and 123% coverage inclusive of credit risk. And when you look at the future, the basis of projecting the future is not the past. The past is what it is. The future will be determined by the fundamentals.
And still on financials, higher premiums from fire, engineering, medical and agriculture drove Kenya Reinsurance Corporation's net profit up by 15% to 3.6 billion shillings in the year 2022. The reinsurer says gross written premiums grew 23% to 25 billion shillings. Investors will receive a dividend of 20 cents per share held. Werimu Njenga with the details.
Joining us, we are coming live to you from Sarova Stanley, where Kenya Reinsurance Corporation has just released its the full year results for the year 2022. And according to what we have seen, the results are impeccable. They have reported profit after tax of 15%. That is 3.6 billion shillings. That is up from what was reported last year at 3.1 billion shillings. And with me is the acting managing director, Michael Mbeshi, to just break down the numbers for us and tell us what were the driving factors of this impeccable results. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Mbeshi.
The main driving factor to this good performance has been the growth in reinsurance premiums. Premiums grew by 23%. We also had a growth in investment income. And apart from that, we also had reduced expenses. The main growth line was fire and engineering. And this is a profitable business because it has a loss ratio of about 46%. And apart from that, of course, we had some other lines of business like agriculture, medical, and other classes of business.
What sort of net claims incurred during the year?
As much as we didn't pay huge claims, what brought up the claims, like you could see, is that a growth of 17% was brought about by the increased premiums. So when you write more business, and this being risk business, it goes that you likely incur higher claims. So that's why you see a growth of claims from 18.9 billion to 22 billion. In receivables, it goes also alongside the growth in premiums. When you write more business, it means you need more effort to collect the premiums. So you find that as you write more business, the receivables also increase. So that's why you see a small increase in receivables arising out of the improved performance in premium return. Our main area of focus is risk management. When you're in this business, you are faced by a lot of all manner of businesses that people want you to reinsure. So when you do proper risk management, it means that when you take any business, you analyze it. And it goes down further. You also analyze the regions.
What of the dividend payout for the year 2022?
The dividend payout is determined by our dividend policy. We've come up with the proposal to grant or to give 20 cents dividend, 20 cents per share dividend to our shareholders. It is in line with our dividend policy.
Elsewhere, green finance initiatives are set to promote sustainable development while addressing climate change challenges. FSD Africa is set to provide financing for young entrepreneurs with innovative climate projects.
FSD Africa says it will focus on inclusive financing for young entrepreneurs in Kenya, pledging to double the investments into initiatives to support a just transition to a green future for Kenya. NAPIA says young Kenyan entrepreneurs will be provided with innovative climate financing as the agency seeks to provide a pipeline of investment deals in the country.
There's a big opportunity to get private finance into nature, whether through biodiversity bonds or through other kinds of transaction. We have to preserve our biodiversity, we have to preserve our natural assets. And thirdly, carbon markets, which are obviously very linked to natural capital.
Treasury Cabinet Secretary Professor Njue said Kenya will continue to provide a favorable environment for the growth of local capital markets, which he says has positioned Kenya to receive more financial flows. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
Let's do sports. Guinea booked their ticket to next year Africa Cup of Nations after beating Walia Antelopes of Ethiopia 3-2 in a Group D qualifier match played last night at the Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat, Morocco.
The Sili National took an early lead in the 4th minute through Captain Nabi Keita, who connected Franco Camano pass, but the East Africans equalized half an hour later.
The Valencia player, ball down there, great opportunity, it's in the back of the net, and an early goal here for Guinea. Picked up by Suleiman Hamid, tries to get the through ball, that's nicely done. Now can he get his pass over? There's a good chance for Ethiopia, it's been teed back, he didn't go, oh look at that for a goal! Beautifully set up and a finish that's worth its weight in gold. Marquena's the man.
Keita combined well with the Valencia midfielder Elax Moriba, with the latter sending the ball back of the net 3 minutes from the break. French-based striker Morgan Gulavogi put Guinea 3-1 up, connecting Moriba's cross with the 20 minutes remaining before defender Suleiman Hamid reduced the deficit in the 5th minute of extra time, assisted by Kitika Jema. Guinea now leads Group D with 9 points from 4 matches, 3 ahead of the Pharaohs of Egypt, who will be away later today to Malawi. Sili National qualified for next year's AFCON for a 14th time as the Ethiopia campaign came to a sudden end. In other results of the day, Central African Republic moved to 2nd place behind Ghana with 7 points following a 2-0 victory over Madagascar as 4-time African champions Ghana played to a 1-1 draw in Angola.
Will this be the time? It will be. 1-0, Angola in front. The Angola substitution. And here's a chance, and there's a goal! Brilliant! Simple as anything. The crowd is silenced. Angola are back in the game.
In Group G, Congo revived their chances of making the cut following a 1-0 victory at home to Gabon as Super Eagles of Nigeria silenced Guinea-Bissau by a solitary goal, revenging last week's shock defeat in Abuja in the only fixture of Group K. In Group F, already qualified Algeria switched off Njue by 1 goal. In Group F, already qualified Algeria saw off Njue 1-0. 24 matches to conclude round 4 will be played today.
Despite playing their home matches away in Morocco, the Silly National of Guinea sealed their ticket for next year's African Cup of Nations, joining Algeria, Morocco and host Ivory Coast. For Lunchtime News from Prince Moulay Abdallah Stadium in Rabat City, my name is Dismas Otuke.
And that report, AFCON report by your 2K, takes us to the tail end of this live newscast. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. On behalf of everyone who has made this broadcast a success, I wish you a wonderful afternoon. My name is Bentro Njue. Lensa Odingo has been our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. Don't forget to check out our socials for more news.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial star 811 star 967 hash.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial star 811 star 967 hash. Star 811 star 967 hash.